Okay, today in class we were just going over finishing our notes that we started yesterday, and every class ended at a different spot with notes. So if I repeat something that you already heard in class, then just ignore it, but you're just going to add this to your notes that we did yesterday. So let's see. I'm not sure if everybody got this. I'm going to do it. So the Truman Doctrine. So I'm just going to type these notes. That way you can copy it down on your paper from here. Okay. So, yep, just copy it down as I go through. Okay, all right, so that's all of them that we didn't do the day before. So if you need to pause this and finish writing it so that you have these notes done. So that's it for the notes. And then for the rest of class today, we just kind of had a fun little thing watching some video clips of very popular 50s sitcoms like Gilligan's Island, Andy Griffith's Show and I Love Lucy. Those are very, very popular ones. It just, if you had a TV during the 50s or even the 60s and 70s, people were always watching those things. So some of your grandparents might remember that. And then we're just kind of talking about 50s culture a little bit, how it became a standard and normal thing for schools to practice. Hey, let's practice what you do if we're going to get bombed. Let's duck and cover under the tables, as if that would really help anything. It became common for people to try to build bunkers in their houses or try to build, deep cellars and make sure they had a basement so that if we were going to get bombed, they could try to save themselves in these bunkers and basements. So the Red Scare, just like our vocab word right there, really dominated a lot of people's thoughts. That's why McCarthyism was able to, take hold. McCarthyism is just basically this, blaming people, accusing people of being communists without any evidence, just like Joseph McCarthy did when he was like, all these people on this list I have are communists. They're all part of our government. And then he didn't ever provide any names on that list. But people were terrified still. That was the thing. Like there was like the 50s, all of the 50s and the 60s were just so focused on the terror of what could happen if the Soviets would bomb us. That was just constant all the time. So we talked a little bit about also gender roles, how men were expected to be these cookie cutter men, go to work, go to business, and be in business and be a suit and a tie, and you come home to your wife and your kids and your house and your white picket fence, and that was just what was expected, at least if you were white. If you were Native, about the 50s is when these boarding schools started dying off and started closing. Was in the 50s. So if you were still in one, it'd be the last years of one, and if at the time you wouldn't be in one, you'd be starting to integrate into regular public schools at this time. So at least for kids. For adults, they don't have to worry about school because they're adults. And then women, the way that women were seen was like property, as if they're children even. We read this thing was like, men were asked, should you spank your wife? And some men said, yeah, if they're going to act like children, they deserve to be spanked like children. Like, I don't know, put her in her place kind of thing. It's just so annoying how it was just expected for a wife to serve her husband. There's nothing better that a wife could have done. And so the sexism and unequal treatment of men and women during the 50s was rampant. So anyways, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys got all the notes down. We didn't do any other assignments during class, but you did have homework, which I'm going to show you. And it's not even, hold on, turn these on so you guys can see them. These ones, I'm not doing this anymore, so don't worry about that. Who started the Cold War? So that's the homework. I have a thing I handed out, which I think I only have one kid who should be watching this, but Zayla is the only one who was absent today in class. So Zayla, I have the packet for you in the absent box, but you're just gonna click on this to look at all the slideshows and get all the background information that you need to know before doing the assignment. So that's it for today. So hopefully you have a good day, and we'll see you in class this next week.